Well, always good to speak with you, Vinod Dasari. An important announcement there coming in from Ashok Leyland. Tell me a little about this because you've said that you're going to work on the technology for battery swapping. So clearly it seems Ashok Leyland is gearing up for the government's electric mobility mission, which I think will be unveiled sometime soon. So tell me a little more about the importance of this arrangement that you've announced today.
Ronojoy, as you know, that there were three different types of electric vehicle strategy that we had pursued. One was our European strategy that was for very long distance vehicles with much faster charge. The second strategy was with the circuit, which was for medium-sized distances with an overnight charge. And then the third was something that we started working on now with Sun Mobility, which is about swapping and recharging those batteries. So as you know that inside a city, an average bus only goes about 25-30 kilometers and it comes back to the depot. And in the depot, by the time you change the driver and conductor and all that, maybe 3 to 5 minutes. In that same 3 to 5 minutes, we can change the battery and put something else completely. So it is, imagine a situation where you have completely eliminated the anxiety about how far this vehicle will go. Imagine a situation where it is also at the same cost as operating cost as roughly the fuel. So, and doesn't have any emissions. So in that sense, if we can pull this off, it will be a truly Indian innovation that we were very proud of working with Sun Mobility on.
No, it sure will be an important innovation, Vinod. But tell me also, because you would need battery swapping stations. So that is something that is beyond your control. That will also depend on how far government-owned public sector enterprises really work on that. So clearly, I mean, when you make an announcement like this, you would have some understanding, some idea in terms of the number of swapping stations that would be ready. Talk to me a little about that.
So there are two ways to look at it. We can either sell it on a capex model where we could sell the battery swapping station, because between us and Sun Mobility, it's not about making the buses, but also making the battery swapping station, the entire infrastructure. So I could sell a complete package to somebody and be ready with that. Or we could even operate the battery charging stations. We could set that up every so often and have a pay-per-use kind of mechanism where it is no initial upfront cost to the customer, whether it's a state government or we can even extend this to trucks. There is delivery trucks that go inside the city, and then maybe we could look at even intercity. Imagine if you put in one little cassette, small cassette for, let's say, for 30 kilometers, you could modularly grow that and increase it for maybe 100 and 150 kilometers, and then have something set up along the highway. So just like there is a gas station set up along the highway, you could have something where you just go in, replace one cassette, put another one in, as simple as that.
So therefore,
of course, that's all not as simple because they have robotics that are assigned to it, which take.
Yeah. No, I was, I was asking that. Therefore, you're going to sort of work on the entire ecosystem, so to speak. Apart from just developing the buses with these swapping batteries, you, along with Sun Mobility, will also be working towards actually setting up these swapping stations.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely.
All right.
So it's the entire ecosystem. There is the bus, there is the motor controller, the supervisory control, the batteries, the battery swapping station, the charging station, the entire package. We could deliver this entire package to somebody else who will manage it on their own, or what we would prefer in the beginning is that we offer this to somebody who, the bus operations they can do themselves, but the entire back end is done by either us or by Sun Mobility.
So how many then do you foresee in the first phase, so to speak, that the number of battery swapping stations that you are ready to develop? Of course, it will depend on the order, it will depend on on who's buying it, but roughly how much can you do, let's say in the first year?
First of all, the solution needs to be developed. The solution is being worked on, and we are going to have a prototype ready hopefully in the next 6 to 12 months, and then hopefully commercial launch maybe immediately after that. And number of swapping stations depends on how many number of buses and the density of it. If the density is very high, you will probably need to set up only 1 or 2 because they will come and in 2-3 minutes you can change it. If the density is very low and the city is very spread out, then you might need 3 or 4 across the city to set up. So That's the beauty of this concept.
You know, since you're talking about battery swapping, it would also
So it's not just about having the swapping and charging station,
go on, complete the point.
it's also about it's not just about having, it's like off the shelf, I bought somebody's battery and give it to somebody else for charging. You know, the integration of this with the bus, with the controls, with the supervisory control, the entire powertrain mapping so that it's done uniform and the consumption of battery is done in a proper manner, that all is very, very important. And that's where we are working together on to make sure that this is done properly.
So therefore, your announcement, of course, underscores the fact that your confidence in, the fact that the electric mobility, as we understand it today, is perhaps at an inflection point in India. And from here on, you're going to see, a genuine uptick in volumes, in enthusiasm, in interest as far as electric vehicles are concerned. So therefore, we will understand that Ashok Leyland, you will be participating in the government's electric vehicle mission program, whatever we may call it, as and when that is announced.
Absolutely. I mean, what has happened 5 years ago used to cost about $1,500 per kilowatt hour, has now come down to about $200, and it will probably come down to less than $100. At which point, by the way, Ronojoy, the cost of operating a bus using battery is cheaper than cost of operating a bus with diesel. So not only you get the benefit of much better emissions, but you also get this benefit. So while in our country we are chasing the European standards of Euro 3, Euro 4, Euro 6 and all that, I think now with this government there is a tremendous push towards saying how do we make our country free of imported fuel, free of emissions, and this is very much in line with that. So there is tremendous positive support from the government. The policy makers are very much behind this, and as the country becomes a power surplus nation, what better way to use it than to use it for public transport? And that's where we come in.
Right. Since electric mobility still largely in India is sort of considered to be uncharted waters, here one would assume there would be a lot of cooperation required even among competitors. I mean, Ashok Leyland will have to, or at least on certain kind of products, especially when you're setting up swappable battery stations. So if Tata Motors comes out with a similar kind of bus, let's say tomorrow, and they all want to use the same swapping battery station, it would mean certain amount of standardization in vehicles. Are companies like yours, Tata Motors, M&M, are you all working together, collaborating at least on certain aspects of electric mobility?
Well, there is a National Board of Electric Mobility, of which I am a member. Our teams are working together. And Ronojoy, if it's in the interest of the nation, Ashok Leyland will be very happy to work with anybody. That's as simple as that. We focus on developing Indian innovation based products. If you allow me, we were the only ones when BS3 came up, we were the only ones with a mechanical fuel pump in the world. And people said it would not work. We sold more than 2 lakh vehicles of those. Then when BS4 came up, we were the first ones to bring SCR technology to India in 2010. But now in 2017, we are the only ones in the world who came up with an EGR technology, which I shared with you. You were the first ones to see it when we met here in Chennai. Today, people say, well, it won't work, it won't work. We have sold more than 10,000 of those. And it is working so well, it is giving better fuel efficiency than my BS3, and it's performing so well that I have more than doubled the warranty on it. This is how confident I am about Indian engineering. And this is what this government is also pushing, that design in India, make in India. And with that, with this partnership, it is classic. As an Indian company with an Indian battery company, we are coming together to make something that is truly Indian in the best interest of the nation. And if we have to share standards and all that with our competition, we'd be happy to, if it's in the nation's best interest.
Couple of last points, sir. Right now it's an alliance that you have announced, a possibility of taking this a step further, because I understand this, you have a sort of an exclusivity clause also in this alliance. Could we, can we look at a possible joint venture company in the future? And more importantly, as and when you develop the technologies, can you use that technology for your existing products?
Yeah, we can use this for existing products. We'll have to suitably modify them. And to answer your first question, Ronojoy, yes, this is an exclusive arrangement for this swap and charge kind of mechanism. We have the other two strategies that we are still pursuing. As and when this develops, we will look at other options, whether it's a JV, equity partnership, there could be many different ways.
Okay, since we have you also, just two last questions, sir. Since we have you now, post GST rollout, how is it looking, in the month of July? You are the Siam president. What's the impression you're getting from your peers also in the industry? Because largely there has been a price correction also. Do you think that's going to sort of give a boost to demand as well?
For commercial vehicles, the price correction never usually has an uptick or a downtick on demand. People buy commercial vehicles when there is demand, when he has a load to carry. So slight change of 1 or 2% because the taxation is not something that is going to bother anybody. There was some confusion because of the GST rollout and all of that, and people were not clear exactly what will be passed on and what will not. The first 15 days, let's say 2 weeks, it was very slow, but now I can see clearly the demand picking up, and I'm quite bullish about it.
One final...
I'm talking for commercial vehicles. I don't know about other segments as of now.
Fair enough. One final question then, with the GST coming into place, many of the state exemptions that you enjoyed, whether they were central excise exemptions in places like Uttarakhand, where you have a plant in Pantnagar, or specific state exemptions that you got, that individual state governments had awarded to companies like yourselves, so set up manufacturing plants there. Now there's a concern whether you're going to get those incentives from the government because GST subsumes all that. We understand you've also raised this issue with, with the finance ministry recently. Are you concerned that if those exemptions are not given, that could impact the competitiveness of some of the companies like yourselves who've decided to set up manufacturing plants based on commitments and promises that were made to you?
Well, first of all, for us, it is the only impact is on the Pantnagar thing, if at all there is there, because there is still lack of clarity on that. Let me explain. Even if there is an impact, the worst case impact is about 3 or 4%, which is not too significant because we only make a portion of our vehicles there. But I think the clarity that we are seeking, is it on cost, is it on value addition, is it on sale price? So that is being worked out, and I think the government has told us verbally that, look, if there is a promise made by the government, even if it was a previous government, they will honor it. So they will find ways to honor it. So we are not concerned that much. It's a matter of time till we get this resolution, and hopefully it will come in a very short time.
All right, Mr. Dasari, always a pleasure to speak with you. Good luck and with your new business initiative. I'm guessing other manufacturers will also follow suit. Thanks a lot.